Priorities help you to determine how to spend your time. And the converse is also true. Flip the coin over. The way you spend your time is a good indicator of your priorities. If you give me your diary and your checkbook in 5 minutes, I can tell you the kind of person you are.
Welcome to Maximize Life, the television broadcast from New Wine Church, London. Jesus said, "I have come that you may have life and have it more abundantly." Our mandate is to challenge you to be all you can be. So get ready to be encouraged, enriched, and empowered. You will never be the same again.
Please take your Bible and go with me to the book of Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians 5, and let's read verses 15 to 17. Ephesians 5, 15 to 17. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Therefore do not be unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Help me preach this morning. Touch 3 or 4 people and say to them, establish your priorities. Establish your priorities. Now let me read Ephesians 5, 15 to 17 to you in a combination of translations. I've put all this together. I'm going to read from the Message Bible, today's English version, and the Amplified Bible. Listen. Look carefully then how you walk. Watch your step. Use your head. Don't live like ignorant people, but like wise people. Live purposefully and worthily and accurately, not as the unwise and witless, but as wise, sensible, intelligent people. Making the very most of the time, buying up each opportunity because the days are evil. Make the most of every chance you get. These are desperate times. Therefore, do not be vague and thoughtless and foolish. Don't live carelessly, unthinkingly. Make sure you understand what the master wants. Understanding and firmly grasping what the will of the Lord is. Now, if I asked you this morning, which would you rather save, time or money? What would be your answer? How many people would rather save time? How many people would rather save money? How many won't save any of the two? How many just don't care whether it's time or money? Okay, you are very smart people in this church, and most of you answered to time. But you know, that's not the case in society at large. The majority of people in society at large, if you gave them the choice between saving time and saving money, they would choose money. But the truth is, how you spend your time is far, far, far more important than how you spend your money. And of course, how you spend your money is important, but how you spend your time is significantly more important. Lost money can be regained, but the moment we lose time, it's gone forever. Money mistakes can be corrected, but time mistakes, apart from the grace of God, they are made forever. If you have a lot of money and you have no time, you're a poor person. If you have £1 billion and the doctor tells you you have 2 weeks to live, trust me, you're not a rich man. You're not even going to have the time to enjoy the money. But on the other hand, if you have time and no money, you can still use your time to get money. In fact, you can convert your time into just about anything you want. Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, in reality, God doesn't really give us money. And that's why praying, Lord, give me money, is not really a very wise prayer, but that's a message for another day. God doesn't really give us money. He gives us time and we convert it into money. God doesn't really give us friends. He gives us time and we convert it into friends. God doesn't really give us knowledge. He gives us time and we convert it into knowledge. What am I trying to say to you today? Your time is your most valuable resource. I'll say that again. Your time is your most valuable resource. I'll say that again. Your time is your most valuable resource. Therefore, you must guard it jealously. You must be wise. Say wise. And deliberate. Say deliberate about how you use it. Look at Ephesians 5:15-17 again. Let me read that combination of translations to you again. Look carefully then how you walk. Watch your step. Use your head. Don't live like ignorant people, but like wise people. Live purposefully and worthily and accurately, not as the unwise and witless, but as wise, sensible, intelligent people. Listen, people, the Bible says we should live as wise, sensible, intelligent people. How should we do that, Paul? Making the very most of the time, buying up each opportunity, because the days are evil. Paul says the way we live our lives as wise, sensible, intelligent people is that we make the most of our time. Make the most of our time. Tell your neighbor for me, make the most of your time. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, every minute you live is an irreplaceable resource, and it is limited in supply. Every minute you live is an irreplaceable resource. Every minute you live is a gift from God. Don't ever forget that. None of us is guaranteed the next hour. You know, we live our lives and we take it for granted that we will wake up tomorrow morning. Nobody promised you will wake up tomorrow morning. And so if we wake up in the morning, we recognize it's not our prerogative. It's by the grace of God that we are not consumed. Who says amen? That's why James teaches us that before you make your plans, remember to say, God willing. Oh, I'll go to so and so and I'll do such and such. Man proposes. Yeah. God willing. So every minute you live is a gift from God. So you have the responsibility to maximize your time. Tell somebody for me, maximize your time. Remember, life is short. No one has the luxury of living forever. We are mortal, and our lives will eventually come to an end. When people pray for you that God will give you long life, 200 years you will die. So you live and it's really long. You get the point? Now, the more we appreciate the value of time, the wiser we will be at using it. In fact, that's true of everything. The more value you place on something, the wiser you will be using that thing. If you want to know the value of 1 year, ask the student who failed the final exam. If you want to know the value of 1 month, ask the mother of a premature baby. If you want to know the value of 1 week, ask the editor of the weekly magazine. If you want to know the value of 1 day, ask the daily wage earner who has 6 children and didn't get a job for a day. If you want to know the value of 1 hour, ask the lovers who are waiting to meet each other. If you want to know the value of 1 minute, ask the passenger who missed the plane or who missed the train. If you want to know the value of 1 second, ask the driver who survived the accident. If you want to know the value of 1 millisecond, ask the Olympic silver medalist. Tell your neighbor for me, your time is precious. Tell them your time is priceless. Poet Carl Sandburg said, time is the most valuable coin in your life. You and you alone will determine how that coin will be spent. Be careful you do not let other people spend it for you. That's the way it works, ladies and gentlemen. Your time is precious. Your time is limited in supply. And for those reasons, you have to be very selective. What did I say? Very selective what you put in it. And that brings me to the big issue of today, the issue of priorities. Somebody say priorities. Now, that priority simply means determining what comes before what. That word priority comes from the word prior, which means before. It means in the use of my time, item 1 comes before item 2, and item 2 comes before item 3, and so on. It means my daily activities are on a queue. I attend to the most important thing first, and then the next most important thing, and so on. It means that everything is not equally important to me. Some things are more important than others. So not everything requires equal time, equal attention, or equal energy from me. Listen, friend, you cannot give the same amount of time to everything. You cannot give the same amount of time to everyone. I know you love everyone, but you cannot give the same amount of time to everyone. You cannot give the same amount of attention to everyone. You cannot give the same amount of energy to everything that you do. Some things require 5 minutes. Don't give those things 1 hour. Some things require 1 hour. Don't give those things 5 minutes. People who mix things up have their lives in disorder. The same with people. Some people are 5-minute people. Don't give them 1 hour of your time. Some people are 1 hour people. Don't shortchange yourself by spending 5 minutes with them. So how do you know? How do you know which things require 5 minutes versus which things require 1 hour? How do you know which people you should give an hour to versus the people you should give 5 minutes to? One word: priorities. Say priorities. The things that are most important should never be at the mercy of the things that are least important. And if you have not known how to distinguish the two, then you will mix them up. You will spend the wrong amount of time and energy doing the things that are least important. Remember, you cannot do everything. You cannot be everywhere. You cannot please everybody. You cannot answer every call. You cannot honor every invitation. You cannot go everywhere people want you to go. You have to choose. Tell your neighbor, you have to choose. Remember what John Maxwell said: you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want. Chinese author Lin Yutang said, besides the noble art of getting things done, there is the noble art of leaving things undone. Wisdom tells you that nobody is equipped to do everything. And so there are some things that have to be left undone. He said the wisdom of life consists in the elimination of the non-essentials. Have you learned how to eliminate the non-essentials in your life? Philosopher William James said, the art of being wise is knowing what to overlook. You know, when you are immature, you answer everybody who questions you. You answer every comment they make about you. You answer every criticism. You try to correct every allegation. You try to right every wrong. You try to sort out everybody. Listen to me, you will drain your energy trying to do that. You need to choose what mountain you die on. You choose what you give your energy to. My time is too precious. My assignment is too significant. I can't answer to everybody. I can't answer every allegation. I can't respond to every criticism. You have the right to say what you want to say, but I don't have the right, I don't have the obligation to answer you back. Are you hearing me today? How do you decide what things to overlook? Priorities. Say priorities. Tell your neighbor, establish your priorities. Your priorities help you to determine how to spend your time. And the converse is also true. Flip the coin over. The way you spend your time is a good indicator of your priorities. If you give me your diary and your checkbook in 5 minutes, I can tell you the kind of person you are. It's as simple as that. If I know how you spend your time, I know what's important to you. In the late 90s, when I started to go to Australia, we used to stay in a particular hotel. And I remember that every time we went for breakfast in the restaurant, at least 3 times a week, the manager of the hotel will come in to have breakfast on his way to go and play golf. 3 times a week. And it happened not on one visit, not on two visits, not on three visits, every time. 3 times a week. I knew him more as a golfer than I knew him as a hotel manager. It was very easy for me to determine what his priorities were. The guy was addicted to golf. All right? So the way you spend your time is a good indicator of your priorities. Have you ever found yourself thinking, I need more time? Have you ever found yourself thinking that? I need more time. Well, newsflash, you're not going to get it. No one gets more time. There are 24 hours in the day. That's all you get. 1,440 minutes. Everybody gets the same. Time is the great equalizer. The Queen doesn't get 25 hours. The President of America doesn't get 25 hours. The school janitor doesn't get 23 hours. Everybody gets 24. So how come some achieve more in those 24 hours than others? How come some use the same amount of time to advance themselves better than others? Because of the value of what they put in those hours. You know, I want you to look at your day like this. When the clock strikes midnight, imagine God gives you 24 empty boxes. And he says to you, you're free to put anything you like in those boxes. Each box is 1 hour. And you can pour junk in each of those boxes. When you come to 12 midnight of the next day, you have 24 boxes of junk. Or you can pour treasure into those 24 boxes. At 12 midnight the next day, you have 24 boxes of treasure. And what you put into your hour from day to day is what will eventually determine the quality and the value of your life. Are you getting it, ladies and gentlemen? What determines the value of our lives is the value of what we put into our time. Because you cannot change time, you must learn to change what you put in it. If you want to change your life, hear me, if you want to change your life, you need to change your priorities. If this year is going to be different from last year, then your priorities this year must be different from your priorities last year. Remember, we cannot put new wine into old wineskins. We're going to bust the wineskin and we're going to spill the wine. Tell your neighbor, establish your priorities. And this is the big deal, people. This is the scary part of it. If you don't establish your priorities, someone else will. It's as simple as that. That's why you must never start your day in neutral. Never start your day wondering what you're going to do today. Because very quickly somebody will find you something to do. If you don't pour valuable things in those 24 boxes, people will dump their rubbish in those 24 boxes. If you don't decide how your day will be spent, someone else will. Have you noticed that people who have nothing to do want to do it with you? If you've never noticed, just wait till tomorrow morning. When you get to work tomorrow morning, within 20 minutes of getting to work, somebody's going to wander to your desk and want to spend the next 30 minutes with you talking about nothing. When people like that come around you, you have no obligation to be polite. Tell them, you know what? I know you're not going anywhere. I am going somewhere this year. I've got stuff to do. I got to go. Are you hearing me today? So what are the benefits of establishing your priorities? Let me give you 5 quickly. There are more than 5, but let me give you these 5 very quickly. Number 1, priorities help you to separate what is most important from what is least important. If everything is important to you, something is very wrong. Priorities help you to separate what is most important from what is least important. Number 2, priorities liberate you from the tyranny of the urgent. How many of you know that urgent things are like tyrants? They're like dictators. They took over your life and they try to control you. It's like a ringing phone. Thank God for voicemail nowadays. But remember the days when there was no voicemail? And your phone just rang and rang and rang and rang and rang. And with every ring it's saying, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up now, pick me up now. I'm the most important thing now, pick me up now. That's the way an urgent thing is. It's screaming for your attention. But ladies and gentlemen, just because something is urgent doesn't mean it is important. And if, I hesitate to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you always have urgent things in your life, it means there is no order in your life. Because it wasn't always urgent. But we'll leave that till another day. So the simple question is, what is the worst thing that will happen if I don't attend to this urgent thing? And that helps you to decide how important it is. Number 3, priorities release you from the guilt of not doing everything. Trust me, by deciding not to do everything, you will offend some people. You won't be able to attend everybody's party. You won't be able to go out with everyone who wants to go out with you. You will offend some people. But ladies and gentlemen, it's okay to offend some people, as long as you don't offend everybody. Some people, I can live with that. But be honest with me, who's been there before? Where you had 8 things to do and you knew you couldn't do 8 things. You managed to do 3 and you felt guilty about the other 5. Have you been there before? Summertime, you had 4 invitations on the same Saturday. You couldn't get to all 4 and you felt guilty. Priorities release you from that guilt. Number 4, priorities help you to eliminate distractions. Ladies and gentlemen, distractions are the most prolific destroyer of focus. Distractions break your focus. Distractions weaken your resolve to accomplish things. That's why we call them distractions. It's a combination of 2 words, the word dis, which means away from, and the word traction, which means to pull. A distraction is that which pulls you away from your focus, pulls you away from your purpose. When I was in medical school, my psychology professor said, if you have 2 conflicting duties, one of them is not your duty. If you have 2 conflicting duties, one of them is not your duty. And we, the students, added, it is your pleasure. Number 5, priorities help you obtain the highest return on the investment of your time. Priorities tell you, listen, if I put 3 hours into this endeavor, what yield will it give me? If I put 3 hours into that endeavor, what yield will it give me? And very quickly you can decide where to spend your time. People, anytime you find people fulfilling their dreams, every time you see people attain the highest level in their career or profession, you can be sure that priorities have been very important to them. And I want to challenge you in this year to make priorities a matter of priority.
Since the beginning of the year, fresh prophetic words have been released.
The God who did not leave you in the wilderness, He will take you through the year 2018. Somebody said, I will make it.
Now that we've fasted and prayed, the power available to us is only going to get more intense.
I am so excited about Deeper and Higher 2018 because if this is day 1 of Deeper and Higher, I can't wait for the next few days.
Oh yes, since day 1, the power has been steadily building.
I'm really glad I came to Deep and High tonight because it was from the throne room of God. Powerful time in prayer. God's with us. God's in this. I'm really excited.
Oh yes, it's time to get excited. But the question is, have you filled in your prayer request card? So, here's how to make sure you're not left behind. Know the dates. Attend the meetings. Receive and believe God's prophetic words for your life.
When a prophetic word goes forth, it is looking for where it will be fulfilled, and it is where it is received by faith. and it is mixed with faith in your heart, there is no power in existence that can stop it from coming to pass.
Life is about battle. It is the battle of the word.
Believe God's prophetic words for your life from our host, Pastor Michael Olawore, and our guests, Pastor Wale Babatunde, Bishop Francis Wale Oke, and Pastor Nathaniel Bassi.
Unshakable, unshakable God.
Unshakable God.
For Touch Heaven 7 times. Thursday the 25th to Wednesday the 31st of January, 6:30 p.m. daily. You'll never be the same.
Something new and incredible is coming to a Friday night at New Wine Church.
I believe that in giving, both tithe and offering, there's a reward. Where God will come for you, you don't know. But if you have a plan, like I do, for my mortgage to be repaid, I just continue faithfully doing what I know that is necessary to be done.
I first saw an advert for New Wine Church in the back of a magazine, Pride magazine. My sister and I decided that we'd just come and see what it was all about. We came one Sunday, we were living in North London at the time, and wow, this man just electrified, the service basically.
Yes, God is moving in the house, doing the seemingly impossible and making a way like only He can. So get ready for the all-new Testimony Night, starting Friday 23rd February and monthly thereafterwards. During the service, you'll hear live testimonials from men and women just like you as they share how God is moving in their families, their health, their finances, their faith, their careers, and so much more. Rest assured, God is still a God of miracles. And if you would like to share your testimony, be sure to fill in a testimony card and return it to the information desk. It's up to us to make God famous, because if we don't, nobody will. So be sure to share your testimony and encourage someone else. Testimony Night, making God famous one story at a time.